Quick video here. So I fixed a bunch of these Mercedes, the 722.6 transmissions. Most of the time when they're stuck in limp mode, it's just a few simple things. And if it's not the conductor plate, it's some fairly simple fixes. So I dug into this one, and this W211 right in front of me, it's an E320 wagon. It had no communication to the TCM, so either you're gonna have the W210 or like the 90s or early 2000 Benz that still use a OBD1 and they use the OBD2. So just make sure if you have like a W210 or a W202 Mercedes that you're gonna want to use the OBD1 to read the transmission module, because you won't be able to read it with the OBD2. But this W211 wasn't reading the transmission module with the OBD2, and the W211 doesn't have an OBD1. So if your W211 isn't reading the TCM, it's most likely like the fuse 46, 47, around that area. So check those fuses. It's in the fuse box under the hood, driver's side. And then also if you check online, like W211 fuse box diagram, you will be able to look up the fuse. You'll see ETC under the fuse 46. It's like a 7.5 amp fuse. And then on this car, it was just not seated properly, and I pretty much diagnosed that by one, looking at the fuse diagram and looking at the fuse circuit, because the power wire wasn't getting any power. You can always just jump the power wire to the TCM, the transmission control module. Just put a wire directly to the pin, the red wire that's providing power, and just jump it straight to the like any power wire, which you could just do the power distribution block that's like sitting right behind it in the footwell. But that's pretty much, once I jumped the wire, even I found that the TCM wasn't getting any, well, I mean, I did a multimeter, found out it wasn't getting any power. So I jumped the TCM, found out that the TCM still works and it's just not getting any power. So I went back to the fuses and found that the fuse that is for that circuit just wasn't seated properly. So I, just literally just pushed it down a little bit, so then it made full contact and the TCM reads again. But long story short, if your TCM isn't reading, most likely the TCM isn't getting any power from the power wire. So there could be a break in the power wire, fuse could have popped, or it could have been misseated or whatever happened, like in this one right here. We just bought this one off of Marketplace for about $500, so it was pretty much a good steal. But it's kind of baffling why it was kind of like that. It felt like someone had touched it, but I don't know why someone would have touched it and then sold it so cheap. The car is in actually really good condition inside and out. Mechanically is sound, and the transmission works perfectly fine. They sold it pretty cheap, as they said that it had transmission problems, but really the TCM wasn't reading. So yeah, quite interesting.